In the race for Montana's eastern congressional seat, a recent public appearance raised eyebrows after the Democratic nominee, John Driscoll, said he already congratulated Republican Troy Downing, predicting his opponent would do very well in this solidly red district. Now, a new write-in Democrat, Riley Neal, says not so fast. Brianna McCabe sat down with all three candidates for some clarity on where the race stands now.
You want to have a debate?
Let's have a debate.
We've come to expect feisty exchanges ahead of elections. So it was a bit unexpected when Republican Troy Downing received kudos from his Democratic challenger, John Driscoll, at a Billings Rotary meeting.
He started speaking, basically saying that he thought I was going to do a great job.
There's no reason not to be nice and be honest about it.
Well, I'm glad I finally have a chance to meet Commissioner Downing and to congratulate him. I think he's going to do very well in this election. Eastern Montana for Republicans is like Butte has always been for Democrats, so you kind of know what to expect.
It's just not normal that you'll have somebody, congratulate you the first time they meet you. I mean, you've got to admit that's odd.
I thanked him, and I also told him I thought he'd do pretty well. Like, that's a pretty safe statement, but I didn't say he was going to win, right? Big difference. So I came back to Helen, and everybody in Helen was saying, don't concede. I didn't concede. All I said was he's going to do pretty well, which he will.
This seems really pressing.
It sounded like a concession to Democrat Riley Neal, who already questioned Driscoll's campaign enough to file as a write-in candidate in a race already written off as a win for Republicans.
Even though we may not be a majority, the Democrats may not have held a majority in this district in a long time, we still exist and deserve representation.
Hey, Montana.
The Livingston Local represented Montanans in the legislature from 2013 to 2015. She ran a newspaper and in 2020 for governor against Greg Gianforte.
Rangers! Woo! Rangers!
The Park High School parent couldn't stand on the political sidelines when she saw how Driscoll was representing her party.
I wanted a choice on the ballot, and I thought, I can do that.
I'm running a write-in campaign for U.S. Congress for Montana's 2nd District.
Since launching her campaign in mid-August, Neal is covering as much ground as she can.
I'm out here on the High Line today near Malta.
In the largest congressional district by land area in the lower 48.
I haven't heard anyone upset at me for running. I have heard lots of people upset that Driscoll isn't taking this seriously.
Animosity aside, the two shook hands when they met face-to-face at the hometown Helena event Driscoll attends weekly. Neal says she came to listen, not to campaign, but Driscoll continued his courtesy toward his opponents when he got up to introduce Neal.
So I'd like, if you don't mind, rather, to introduce you.
She was surprised by that. I saw her smile, so it was okay, And if I had been in her shoes, I would have appreciated somebody introducing me.
Hi, my name is Riley Neal, and I'm running as a write-in candidate.
I think he may have just thought he was, being kind, but it kind of took away my agency. I hadn't asked him to introduce me, and it did feel a little awkward to be put on the spot. But hey, I'm running for office, so, put me on the spot. I'm here to do it.
Helena is a hot spot for this race, home to both Neal's opponents on the ballot. Geographically, Montana's political center sits on the far left of the district that votes reliably to the right.
What's the status of the governor's?
That's why state auditor and Republican Troy Downing says 2 Democrats in the race won't affect the outcome.
That seems like it's more of a fight for votes between the two of them, which I don't think, mathematically matters to me.
Republicans and Downing received 2.5 times the votes of Driscoll and Democrats in the primary. And while Downing spent $2 million on that campaign, Driscoll only spent $2,000 in a protest of campaign spending.
I think the only way to break through this control that money has on American politics is to actually get elected without it. And so I purposefully am doing that. And I've turned away a lot of contributions. It's gone down. The last purchase was gas in Big Timber for $50.57.
A candidate can spend up to $5,000 before having to file with the Federal Election Commission. Driscoll says he won't go over that.
Thank goodness for truck stop showers.
He tracks his spending
That was a pretty good deal.
and saves money by sleeping in his Subaru.
I've gotten some really good night's sleep.
And in some cases, opts not to travel at all.
If I have something to come up at the last minute, I'm not going there. I'm just not going to spend more than $5,000.
This is 2024. If we want to enact change in Congress, we have to get to Congress. And in order to get to Congress,
You guys have a few seconds?
you have to work a modern campaign.
Okay, I'm going to come back with voter registration and a voting guide for you too.
I really respect this protest, but I just don't think that's how we get to Congress.
Write in Riley and let's get her done.
A write-in campaign is also a steep climb to Congress.
No flubs.
But Neal says it's about more than that.
The role of a person at the top of the ticket is to elevate everyone that's below them on the ticket. And in this particular race, with Driscoll not running a very active campaign, they don't have that.
I've actually valued the criticism. It's pretty stiff criticism.
But for the most part, Driscoll hasn't changed his ways to satisfy his critics. Except for one thing, he agreed to wear a name tag when he's out in public, even during his daily workout rounds at Helena's Centennial Park.
Some Democrat ladies who I have a lot of respect for that were among those upset about me not raising money for advertising said I should at least wear a name tag so that people know who I am. And once in a while I have seen people try to read it as I walk by.
Driscoll admits winning this way won't be a walk in the park.
But I have had a couple selfies taken. One guy in Lewistown, he wanted to take a selfie. Second one I've ever had. I don't know why everybody gets their selfie taken, but anyhow, I said, "Why are you taking my picture?" And he goes, "You're the first politician I've ever seen actually running for office." And I thought, "Wow, that's interesting." Then I find out he's going to vote Republican up and down the ticket, and I said, "Well, think about voting for me."
Montanans have known Driscoll as a Democrat since the 1970s when he served in the legislature. But he tried a radical campaign tactic in a Senate bid 4 years ago. He ran as a Republican. It didn't stick with voters, but the label is still clinging to his Wikipedia page.
I got a hold of them and I said, "Hey, I don't like having Republican after my name." He said, "Look, here's all this stuff that I've done, this Democrat stuff." They said, "No, that's too complicated. They won't change." So hopefully at least one thing will happen after this election, win or lose, is Wikipedia will change me back to a Democrat.
So we want to get this to be 130 degrees.
The past has a way of bubbling up on the internet, like this instructional film on brewing beer in 1990s Brooklyn, starring a New York University research scientist named Troy Downing.
This was, that's how old I was.
The 20-something homebrewer was also developing a technology startup,
Chinese edition 97.
speaking in Java and HTML and writing books about it.
When not sitting in front of a computer terminal, you'll find Troy playing with his daughter, racing mountain bikes, or perfecting his latest batch of homebrew.
And then we'll bottle it.
I never thought I would be running for any office.
A month after that, we'll have beer.
And I'm honored that I've been given this opportunity. And, I won't squander it. I got one from Leader Scalise.
Downing's decision to run for Congress means he'll pack up his auditor's office either way.
I made this one in 2012.
And if he gets to bring his things and strings to D.C., he plans to amplify Republican views on border security and taxes, aligning on national issues with former President Donald Trump. You differ on any policy views?
I have, and I can't think of any off the top of my head. If you had some you think I might defer, bring them up, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. Like most people, I wish that his rhetoric was more focused on policy. But Trump is Trump because Trump is Trump.
If Downing is aligned with Trump and Driscoll is not doing anything to elevate himself in the race, and you never hear of me, then you likely will end up with Troy Downing as our U.S. congressman.
Here we go, dog.
In a race that looks like a long shot for both Democrats, they're still out to make a statement.
To these individuals who feel like they didn't have any choice on the ballot and that this was a done deal, it's exciting, it's energizing, and it's made the race a little more exciting too.
If I don't get elected, I'm probably wrong. I mean, this would be the best effort to try to get elected without money that you're going to see, I think, in this country.
But while candidates campaign on principles, ultimately elections come down to probability.
We're not going to take anything for granted, but I think that I'm favored in the general.
The raw numbers, you can't quibble with those. So he'll do very well. That's all I can say.
For Impact, I'm Brianna McCabe.
John Driscoll's total campaign spending stands at about $3,500. Riley Neal, the write-in candidate, has raised nearly $20,000, and Republican Troy Downing is about to hit $300,000 raised since the primary.